India by Walt Whitman. This Passage to India by Walt Whitman is a self-contradictory overloader. That meaning, the poet says something first and he contradicts the same points again in the same poem. So he is not stable with one idea. He is contradicting his own points again and again. That's why it is called as self-contradictory overloader. That is the specialty of this poem also. Then let's go into the poem. The poem begins with the description of three scientific inventions of Whitman's period. The first one is the digging of Suez Canal. Digging of Suez Canal connected west and east. The second invention is laying of railway track from eastern coastal area to northern coastal area of North America. Then third thing is the laying of telephonic cables which connected the Atlantic area. So almost the area have been connected by the scientific inventions. So this poet Walt Whitman praises the scientific developments initially. Later he says that there is no present without past. So he says that the present has no independency. Present is the outcome of the past. So present always will have some dependence on the past. So past is now developed and become as a new one. Like that he contradicts his own point. The poet Walt Whitman praises the ancient Asian and African religions and fables. So he loves Asian as well as African religions which are followed in that country, and the fables mean stories told there. And he used the word, it's a byproduct of far-darting and unloosened dream, which is from the poem. These words are used there. Then the poet admires the temples and the towers which is burnished with gold. He says that the temples are fairer than lilies. So lilies here refers to the purity of the religion, and the towers are covered with gold. So here gold refers to preciousness. And also this poet admires and talks of the machinist, voyagers, explorers, captains. So he praises of all those people who are contributing something to the world. The poet says that the scientists do not confine themselves in connecting trade ship from one country to another, but this scientist will have some religious urges in them, like that he says. Later, the same poet contradicts himself by saying, poets are far better than, far nobler than the scientists. Now he is comparing the scientists as well as the poets. He says that these scientists are only connecting two lands for trading purpose, but these poets are connecting man with nature and giving comfortable or giving solace or giving comfortable to the fretted soul in the sense dejected souls. So he says like this. So scientists are less than poets, he says. Poets are far better in many ways because they connect man with nature as well as they give solace to the fretted souls. Like that the poet says. Okay. Then the quick passage to India make him think of the other gods of India from Brahma to the junior Buddha. He thinks of Brahma. In Hinduism, Brahma is the most powerful or most senior god that we know. Then from him too, he thinks of the junior god, that is Buddha, recent god. Buddha is the recent one, yeah. So he is called as the junior god. So he thinks of these people, and also he thinks of many voyages, many kings, Aurangzeb, Alexander, Tamerlane, like that he thinks. And he thinks of the two voyages, Marco Polo and other person called America was invented by Columbus. So Columbus and Marco Polo. So these two were thought of, and these two people initially were much acclaimed and much praised. Later, during the last part of their life, they died in dejection, depression, and poverty. So he was contradicting himself. He is unable to conclude which is best, which is better than best. He is always jumping from one to another. Initially he says scientists are better, then he says poets are better, then he says explorers seems to be better than them because at last they found nothing and they died in poverty. So he is always jumping from one place to another. This is what called as self-contradiction. In the third section of the poem, Walt Whitman describes the need for man to go back to his innocence of childhood. That meaning, the man has to go back to his childhood. So that state should be there everywhere, like he says and wishes. And he also says the need of pre-lapsian state of Adam and Eve. So before Adam and Eve committed sin, there was peace everywhere, there was a perfection everywhere, there is no sin at all. So that is pre-lapsian stage. Okay, so before sin is called as pre-lapsian sin. So Adam and Eve were in peace and at a happy, without knowing anything. They were enjoying their life in the paradise that we have seen. So same as that kind of state should be there now, like that he says. And he calls God as his elder brother. So how an elder brother helps everybody, this God will be every now and then and everywhere to help us. If we call him, if we ask something to him, definitely he will help us. So now this writer Walt Whitman is taking us to the spiritual voyage. So he says that God is the man perfect, God is the perfectionist, God is the elder brother, he's a comrade, like that he says. He uses a lot of words for God. So he tries to connect us to God. So God is the only superior for everything, like that he says and finishes his poem. Thank you.